Hey, what's going on, everybody? For You Betcha, I'm Matt, and you're watching Hot Ones. It's the show with hot gamblers and even hotter bets. And today we're joined by Jared. He's a video editing, sports gambling, podcast producing son of a gun. And today we're taking on some of the hottest lines in the upcoming week. Jared, how's it going?
That's doing really well. Doing really well.
Just happy to be here.
I'm happy to be
Aren't
here.
we all?
Yeah.
So there's a reason for the Hot Ones intro, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But first, we have to talk about the reason why I'm so hot. And it's because of our official partners.
Oh, yeah.
Our good friends at DraftKings. Who's ready to score some free bets?
Everybody.
Everybody wants a free bet. How could it get any better than placing a bet without any of the financial risk involved?
It's free money.
It's free cheese, which is a slogan. It's a staple here on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what our friends at DraftKings are offering us. It is the official sports betting partner in NFL, and new customers who bet just $1 on either team to score. I'll repeat, bet $1 on either team to score, and you can win $100 worth of free bets.
Easy. Just don't bet the Jets. But yes.
Don't avoid any Jets-Dolphins game because those might end in a 0-0 tie. But if a team scores, you score. That sounds pretty damn good to me.
Awesome deal.
So that's available if you are in a state with sports books available. If you're in a state that they aren't available, you're not left empty-handed. You can play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings daily fantasy sports contests.
Yep.
And you're getting new customers are getting a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes just with their first deposit.
Easy.
It's so easy. I so enjoy having DraftKings as our official betting partner.
Mm-hmm.
So all you got to do, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the promo code YouBetcha. That is YOUBETCHA. Bet $1 on either team to score in any game, any NFL game, and you will win $100 in free bets if that team scores.
Perfect.
If they do score, you score with promo code YouBetcha this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. It's got to be with your first deposit. And again, it's the official sports betting partner of the Goose Egg Gambling Podcast and the NFL. How's that for legitimacy?
Yeah, we're on the same level with the NFL.
Yes, I'll take it. Yep. Again, that's a promo code YouBetcha. First deposit, free cheese. Must be 21 years or older. New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Perfect.
So, why the Hot Ones intro? It's because, Jared, you and I are both red hot right now.
White hot.
White hot, even better than red hot.
Nothing gets hotter than white hot.
Nothing, yeah.
So
I've never been, in my entire sports gambling life, I've never been this hot. I feel like I can do no wrong. I feel like I could close my eyes, throw a dartboard at 2 games, and I would get it right.
Throw a dartboard?
Throw a dart at a dartboard. Clearly, my linguistics.
Throw an entire dartboard.
Throw a dartboard at a dart, and I could get something right.
Sounds messy.
It is a little messy, but I just feel so good right now, and I don't even know what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's when I stopped doing the insane parlays. Apparently, that has helped my betting strategy.
Yeah.
But
so, when was the last time you did a parlay then?
In Ohio, I did that.
Oh, okay.
That one, but since Ohio is when I've been like hot.
Right.
So
like a week and a half.
Yeah, it's been a week and a half, but it's been like a solid $55 that I've just like won straight without like losing any.
Nice.
It's crazy. I don't know what I've done to deserve it. I'm a little nervous. That's all a big ruse and it's all going to be like pulled out from underneath me.
Yeah, this is where you strike. This is where you do your bigger bets.
And that's exactly what I'm planning on doing this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing.
There's no way this will backfire either.
I love the fact that this is getting recorded and put out on video because I'll be able to look back and say, look how right I was. And look how it's continued to be nothing but great for me since.
Right.
Yeah, my ego is at an all-time high, as you guys can probably tell at this point. So enough of my ego boosting. Let's get into the Week 11 games. I don't want to spend too much time on this game because it sucks, but it's a Thursday night game this week. We got the Baltimore Ravens traveling down to Hard Rock Cafe Stadium to face the Miami Dolphins. The Ravens are a 7.5-point favorite. The over-under is 46.5. I'm probably just going to take the Ravens. I didn't even do that much research into this game.
I don't know how to approach this game either.
It's a weird one. I think I'm going to take the Ravens, but instead I was like, I've bet these over-unders. I bet these spreads all week. Let's switch it up this week. So I went into the DraftKings player props for the first time. I've not done a player prop yet this year. And I found a there's a section there called player parlays.
Mm,
Oh man,
that's
and
tempting.
I found the one that I am gonna ride to the absolute bank. We've got Lamar Jackson, 325 plus passing yards and 50 plus rushing yards. It's plus 1,300,
So 325 passing.
and then 50 rushing
So that'll be 375 yards.
total. But it's got to be past that discrepancy of passing
Correct,
and
yeah.
rushing.
Ooh.
I feel good about it. It's the last time Lamar played the Dolphins was the infamous, like, not bad for a running back, like his breakout game the year he won the MVP. He had 153.8 passer rating, 4 touchdowns, and then like 450 yards.
Right. And watching Lamar play last week against the Vikings, he is way faster than anybody on the field.
You
He's
could
got,
make
like,
the
2
argument
steps
he's
on
like
everybody.
one of the 2 best like running backs in the league almost.
Yeah, he's like top 5 rushing yards right now too.
Yeah. He's might be my pick for MVP.
Yeah, and he's been super clutch too. Like he's gotten like 4 fourth quarter comebacks.
There's always that
season.
argument of like, should MVP be like the best player that season or the most valuable? If it actually is the most valuable, I think Lamar would be it.
Oh, easily. Because I don't even know who their backup is. And like,
It used to be RG3. I don't think it's him anymore. Is it Trace McSorley?
I think he got cut.
I think so too.
I can't remember, but like he runs that offense. That entire offense is built around Lamar.
And how many games has he brought them back when they were down? Like, I mean, you saw it firsthand with your precious Vikings.
Yeah, I expected it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we covered though. We covered.
You did cover. You were
Plus
right
6.
on that. I do owe the Vikings fans an apology because I went in on the Vikings last week for no good reason. I just enjoy riling up the purple people eaters.
Yeah, we can ignore that.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because the Ravens, J.K. Dobbins goes down, and then they haven't really skipped a beat with their running game. They had 36 first downs last week, the Ravens.
That's insane.
40 is the record.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What is going on with the Vikings defense there?
They were gassed. That offense, yeah.
Well, that's what their offense does though. They just get like first down after first down. They're not really a big play offense. It's just a lot of like they'll get to third down a good amount, but they usually convert that third down because
And it's always 3rd and short with them.
Yeah.
Like they always get 3rd and 2. Like the max they'll have is like 3rd and 4. And if they don't get it, they'll go for it on 4th down.
Exactly. They're an aggressive
so much
team.
balls.
Yeah, I really love watching them play. And I know there's still some Lamar Jackson doubters out there, which I don't really get because I think everyone still wants to cling to how a quarterback should play. And if you don't get Lamar Jackson at this point, I just don't think you get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not going to ever be the standing pocket quarterback, even though he's gotten so much better at that already.
Compared to his rookie season, yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Big
But
time.
you just got to take him for what he is. He's a dual threat, and there's going to be more quarterbacks that come in afterwards like him that are like shaping themselves after this offense and just this philosophy.
It's crazy. Like when he got drafted, people are talking about, are you going to play a wide receiver or running back? You really want to play
How crazy is that
quarterback?
looking back now? If you were to redo that draft, like you probably take Lamar first overall, right?
Yeah, here's
That was
the
the Baker, the Josh, even against Josh Allen, I think I would take Lamar.
Yeah, and Greg and Lamar fits so well with that system, that offense with Greg Roman and everything.
Yeah, you got to give that team so much credit for not trying to change Lamar, but building the team around him.
Lamar. Exactly.
So many NFL executives and just any like sports executives in general are so stubborn and trying to like mold a player to what they want it to be rather than molding themselves around them.
Yeah, square peg in a round hole.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm big on the Lamar bandwagon this year. I wasn't even that big on him in his MVP year, but I'm bigger on him now than I was then. So I'm taking Lamar 325 plus passing yards, 50 plus rushing yards. I might take the Ravens 7.5, but I honestly think I'll just put all my eggs into this basket because this seems more fun. It's a parlay. it scratches that itch for me again. So I'm gonna take this one. It's plus 1,300. What are you thinking for this game?
Yeah, Ravens defense is solid. They played well last week.
Mhm.
I mean, first quarter they didn't, but the rest of the game they played pretty solid. I'm assuming Tua is playing. Is he playing?
It's doubtful right now.
Doubtful.
He's got a finger injury, so
Yeah.
their backup is Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah. I mean, if Tua doesn't play, I mean, it's a huge difference if he does play, but
Yeah.
I like Ravens minus 7.5.
Yeah, and I might go for it, but the Dolphins defense actually played pretty well last week too. But last week I'm kind of thinking it was a anomaly.
Kind of
There's just so many
Texans.
weird upsets. It was also the Texans.
So yeah, hold your breath there for a second.
How are they able to sell tickets to that Dolphins Texans game? Were they doing 3-for-1s?
I don't know. Yeah, they're just giving them out.
That must have been rough.
They just left the door open, let anybody go through.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. There's still some people hanging out in the stadium
Yeah.
right now. All right, so that's that Thursday night game. 100% a clean your apartment type game.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I will watch, I'm sure, but I will not watch attentively. The game that I think is the most interesting this weekend is Browns Patriots.
Yes,
This is
very tough.
It's kind of turned into a must win for both teams. The Patriots are only a half game behind the Bills in the AFC East. How did that happen?
Sneaky.
Yeah.
They've been sneaky all year.
They got to send Urban Meyer some flowers or something for beating the Bills last week.
They might.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's already happened.
Probably, but
Or a few drink coupons or something.
yeah, something like that. So it's a 1.5 point spread. The Patriots are favored. The Cleveland actually opened up at -2, but it's been bet all the way down to Pats -1.5 now. I think the main reason is Nick Chubb is out with COVID.
And Felton's out too.
Felton is out as well. So that's like a big part of their offense right there.
Yeah.
Both teams are 5-4 against the spread. And like I said, it's a must win for both teams. I went back and forth on this. I did a lot of research on this game, just trying to figure out what would happen. But I'm going Patriots -1.5. And I think you're going to like the reason why. Bill Belichick revenge game.
Oh.
Bill Belichick revenge game.
Yeah, it's the Bill Belichick
It is.
bowl.
He hates the Browns. He hates the Browns just as much as he hates the Jets. And he often has had his way with them. He is very, he's not very, he doesn't hide the fact that he runs up the score against the Browns or the Jets. It's going to be the toughest matchup for him. This is the best Browns team he's probably faced. And with the worst Patriots team he's had against them.
Yeah.
He doesn't have Tom Brady anymore.
But I think he'll have a good game plan against Baker.
I think so too. I think they're going to completely shut down if Kareem Hunt does play. I think he's questionable right now. If Kareem Hunt does play, they're going to completely shut him down. They're going to completely put this game on Baker, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is where the Browns don't want to be. That's where they usually struggle, is when Baker has to throw it 25 plus times.
Right.
Plus, looking back at that Bengals game, there was a couple big plays that really made that score a lot more lopsided than the game actually was. There was a 99-yard pick six. There was like a 70-plus yard run.
And the Bengals are trending downward. Like
they're collapsing.
I think they've reached their peak for this year.
I would agree.
They were 5-1.
Yep, and now they're 5-4.
I think they were coming back to earth. So I think, and that's part of the reason why the spread is so tight in this Patriots-Browns game. So I do like the -1.5.
Yeah,
Patriots.
Yeah, so I think the only thing that gives me concern is Mac Jones versus that pass rush is going to be tough.
Yes,
They're going to have to get the ball out really quickly.
Very low scoring if they want to win.
The over-under is 45, which I don't hate the under on it.
Ooh, yeah, 6 touchdowns or less. Yeah,
yeah. I don't hate that. It's in New England too, and New England sneaky has a really good home field,
especially if it rains.
Advantage. Yeah. Like no one ever talks about that just because I think the Patriots were so good at every aspect. We just didn't want to give them credit at all for those last 2 decades.
Mm-hmm.
But their home field has become probably a top 5 home field advantage in the NFL.
And then they always have that boat horn when it's like third down. For
and the rifles that fire off at touchdowns.
Those are intimidating.
They are. That would scare the shit out of me.
And you're staring at Bill Belichick on the other sideline. So
yeah, and just not getting a smile out of him or anything like that.
Yeah, with his half sweatshirt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm really, really excited to watch this game. Like I said, I think it's a must-win playoff-wise. The Browns need it to stay in the race, and the Pats kind of need it just to stay alive in the wild card aspect, or maybe even go for the division.
Is this a Jim Nance Tony Romo game?
I would assume so.
We should bet on like who Jim Nance and Tony Romo
are. Like commentator and Tracy.
Yeah, Tracy.
Our girl Tracy Wolfson.
Yeah.
I don't think we've mentioned on the podcast yet, but we got a selfie with Tracy Wolfson at the Browns-Bengals game.
That was the best part of the trip.
Oh, yeah. I would agree completely.
And I dropped Tracy, I got a broadcast journalism degree.
Yeah, I've never seen anyone flex their degree so hard.
And then all she did was like, oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
she
did not care.
Yeah, I don't think she felt the kinship of the same degree, even assuming she even has that same degree.
I'm assuming she does.
Probably.
She's on TV like that.
Yeah, probably, but
that'd be funny if she did.
Yeah, she's like, oh, cool. I did marketing. I'm just kind of doing this to pay the bills right now.
Yeah, I'm a zoologist.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
This is not what my plan was for myself. So Tracy, if that is the case, come on the show and you can
we know you're
clear
listening.
the air. We know you are. So yeah, I'm taking Patriots -1.5, and I'm flirting with the idea of taking the under 45.
I like both.
Yeah, perfect. We're just
I'm kind of riding your hot hand though.
But you're hot too, though. Like you said earlier this week.
We're collaborating though.
I think we're finally opening up a dialogue. I think at the beginning of the season, I was too prideful with my gut, and I wasn't using my head enough, and I was going more for the parlays, more for just the big paydays. Once I've thrown that out the window, I've done nothing but win. So I'm loving it.
I'm loving it.
Loving it. Second favorite game of the week is the one I will actually be attending. It is the Seahawks versus the Green Bay Packers.
Mm-hmm.
I will be going with friend of the program, Sir Yacht. We're also going to the Wisconsin Northwestern game. Jared will not be joining us because he will be having a lovely weekend in Minneapolis.
AEW.
Watching AEW.
Pay-per-view.
It'll be a good time. I'm excited for you.
Very excited.
Target Center will be a good time. So while you'll be there, I'll be, I hope it's not cold, but I'll be probably freezing my ass off at the Seahawks-Packers game.
What is the frozen tundra?
It is the frozen tundra. I am excited to go to Lambeau. It's always been a bucket list item for me to go to Lambeau. So I'm really excited it's like coming to fruition. The line for this game is 3.5. Packers are favored, and the over-under is 49. It's a tough one to choose because it could be Geno Smith versus Jordan Love, or it could be Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. Those are two completely different games.
Yeah, big time.
Completely. The Seahawks are 4-1 against the spread in the last 5, though, which is weird. Huh. They have not done that bad with Geno. They've hung in with every single game, and they won their last game pretty convincingly, albeit it was against the Jaguars, but it was still pretty convincing. They've like stayed competitive, but their record is still bad, so they're entering must-win territory, especially in the NFC West.
Yep.
If they want to keep up, they're not going to keep up with the Rams and Cardinals at this point, but there's still a wild card spot available for them.
Yeah, I got Packers minus 3.5.
Really? This is where we first disagree then, because I like Seahawks plus 3.5.
Seahawks always play dog shit in Lambeau. Every time they go to Lambeau, they don't do well. They lose.
Okay.
So that's literally pretty much my only logic with this game.
Here's my logic. I don't know if you've been watching the news lately, but Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers has stirred up some headlines.
Yes.
We don't need to get into the actual science of anything, but he's still listed as questionable. The earliest he can return is Saturday. Like that's if he has all of his tests go well, if he tests negative, he can return on Saturday, which means he won't have been in the facility for the past 10 days. And he hasn't played a down of football since October 28th, which will have been 17 days since when the game will kick off.
Right.
And he did not play those games with the starting wide receivers. So if you think Russ is a factor, I think that could be a factor.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But you could also argue that Russell Wilson has not played in a few weeks either.
But he's been around the facilities and the team and the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's been like within things. I just think I'm going to go with just the more desperate team in this situation. I think with 3.5, I think the Packers will probably still win.
That's tight.
But 3.5, I feel confident that Russ can keep it within that. Like I said, I think they're a more desperate team. I think they're going to play with fire. Pete Carroll usually, when it comes to like smash mouth games or like games where like the competitiveness, if that makes sense, really like comes into a factor. Just like more of a dogfight game. Pete Carroll, I usually trust his team more than I would trust like a Matt LaFleur team. The Packers, if you can hit the Packers in the mouth, they get pretty rattled.
Right. Like if they have a bad first quarter on defense, that kind of sets the tone for their defense the rest of the game.
And same with the offense. Like if Rodgers has his way the first 3 quarters, it's usually going to go well. Like if Rodgers gets hit though, that's what usually we saw it with the Bucs last year. We saw it with the Saints this year. If you can get them off their spot, that's usually when they falter.
Yeah.
They're kind of like a front runner almost, like the Steph Curry a little bit.
Yeah, they get in their own head a little bit.
Yeah, they think things are usually working really easy for them, but when like you throw a wrench in their fastball, that's usually when they start to suck.
Throw a curveball at them.
There you go.
Yeah,
baseball reference. Obviously, I watch a lot of baseball. And also, the under is 6-0 in the last 6 Packers games, which I was surprised by.
Ooh.
The over-under is 49 for this one, which I don't think I'm going to touch. That's a pretty low.
49?
49, I don't know. A Packers-Seahawks game? Depending on the weather, I guess. But
and like you said, if Rodgers, is coming in on a Saturday and he's
That's true. I guess I'm still expecting like one of those Packers-Seahawks like shootouts that we've grown accustomed to. But this one very well might be like 24-20.
Maybe even lower.
Could be.
I like the under, actually.
The under 49?
I think we'll go opposite of you each
for both these picks.
Yeah. So
I don't know which one I'm going to touch on those ones. That was just an interesting stat to me. I was kind of surprised by that because you kind of expect the Packers to be like a high scoring offense.
Right. And Jordan Love looked like crap last week. He did not play well.
He didn't have a great game plan, I thought, installed for him. They blitzed everyone and they just were not prepared for it.
He was missing a lot of throws too.
Was he? I didn't watch the entire game, to be fair.
Didn't look great.
Didn't look game ready.
Yeah.
Well, that gives
It's
Aaron
good that
Rodgers a lot of leverage this offseason.
It's good that his parents are up in the stands because they.
I saw that. That was so mean. They put him like way up in the nosebleeds. That was so rough.
But I kind of like way back nosebleeds though, like when your back's against the concrete, because you can stand. You kind
That
of
part
have a
is
little more
nice.
privacy. So honestly,
A little
probably
more
not the worst
privacy.
seats.
Yeah, I guess. But if your son's starting at quarterback, you probably want to be a little closer.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah. So you got Packers -3.5, and you're flirting with the over.
I
Or
think
the
I
you're flirting with the
might,
under.
I might buy a half point and go -3 for the Packers.
I don't hate that, I guess. But like I said, I'm just going purely based off desperation at this point. Now that we're really entering the playoff race, like the second half of the season has officially begun, I'm taking that into a major factor with the rest of the games I'm looking at.
Yeah, backs against the wall.
Backs are against the wall. We got a bunch of Mike Zimmer games.
I got one.
Okay.
Bucks -9.5 versus football team.
Washington played them close in the wild card game last year. I would argue Washington played them the best out of any team in the
84
playoff.
years ago, man. That was forever ago.
It was 10 months ago.
But I mean, Washington football team has the second worst pass defense in the league.
Yeah, what happened to their defense?
Their pass rush is okay still, but I think
guess.
it's their secondary that really sucks. And Chase Young has not been having a good year at all.
No, he's been struggling.
He's only got 1.5 sacks this year. Chase
Oh,
Young.
wow.
Very low.
Yeah, I just haven't heard anything from Washington this year. After Fitzpatrick got hurt, I kind of like checked out, and I feel like the rest of the country did too.
So Fitzpatrick's out for the year, correct?
No, I believe he was coming back around this time, but they might have just sat him just because they have no need.
This
to
could have
play
been a
him.
classic Fitzpatrick revenge game.
It could have been, but it was Heineke who took the Bucks for all they were worth in the wild card game last year.
But there's a lot more tape on Heineke now too, though.
There is, yeah.
A lot more.
Oh yeah. I don't hate that pick. I probably won't touch that game just because I won't watch that game.
Plus, Bucks are coming off a bye week.
They are, and they lost to the Saints beforehand in a pretty bad way.
So I think Brady will play pissed off. They'll come back. They want to prove a point again.
Yeah.
So.
That actually perfectly transitioned me in another just little one-off game before I get to like the Sunday night game. A game I like is Cowboys -8 versus the Falcons.
I got the opposite.
You like the Falcons. So there's one reason and one reason only that I like Cowboys -8 against the Atlanta Falcons. To quote my Lord and Savior Colin Cowherd,
Oh my God.
you always take a team that gets embarrassed on like national television. You always take them the next week.
That is true.
The Cowboys probably, out of all the teams that got like upset last week, the Cowboys probably had it the worst. They got shit rocked by the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
That game was never once close.
Mm-hmm.
And the Cowboys are a much better team than the Denver Broncos. The Falcons are trending up, which causes me some concern. I'm going to check this game again come kickoff and before I decide what I actually do. But I just think that the Cowboys will come in hot and be like, they've had a good week of practice, full steam ahead against the Falcons. They just have way more offensive firepower. The Falcons just have no weapons now that Calvin Ridley's out for personal reasons. Kyle Pitts, I guess, but
Yeah, Cordell Patterson's been playing well too.
that's true.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan has also been balling.
Mm-hmm. And they have a great defensive end. I forget his name, Landry, but he's having a great year this year too. Yeah, I think 8 points is too much again for the Cowboys. They probably will win.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I think 8 points is just too much, and Falcons are trending upward. So that's why I got him +8.
Okay. I don't hate that.
And Matt Ryan played really well last week. So
He is. Someone's got to get Matt Ryan out of Atlanta. I actually really like Matt Ryan. It's kind of a shame to see his like golden years are kind of just being wasted now.
Yeah.
That team was just so broken after that Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's because Shanahan left.
I don't know. I think a lot of people are kind of turning on Shanahan now. I'm sensing he's getting like his genius card revoked a little bit.
Your genius card.
Which is brutal. You never want your genius card revoked. If someone ever took mine, I would be distraught.
Yeah, and lose to the Cowboys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, Falcons +8.
Okay. Well, let's transition to the Sunday night game, which is actually really interesting. We got the Chiefs versus the Raiders in Las Vegas.
Very interesting game.
It was a really fun game. They did this game like pretty much like the exact same week last year. And the Chiefs won like last second. That was Derek Carr's like best game of the year. And the Chiefs won last second. But this is not the same Chiefs team, and it is not the same Raiders team. Chiefs are favored by 2.5. The over-under is 51.5. I already know exactly what I'm doing with this game, and I'm hammering the under. 51.5.
Yes.
I don't think either offense is what they're cracked up to be anymore.
And again, Vegas is inflating Chiefs stats with the
Oh,
over
yeah,
and unders,
always.
the spreads, and everything.
I still think the Chiefs will win this game. I honestly think they might win it by like 4 or 5. But
I do love that under though.
I do too. Like, I think we're just expecting it to be a shootout, but I don't think we've fully grasped the X's and O's impact of losing Henry Ruggs for the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
They got Deshaun Jackson to replace it because he was their, like, take the top off the defense, go deep threat guy. And now they don't have that. Hopefully Deshaun Jackson can replicate it for them.
It's kind of funny because Ruggs is like Ruggs is a young version of Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah. And he was really coming into his own, and he was a big reason why that offense was working so well.
Sure.
And we saw the immediate impact of that against the Giants. And it's just a missing thing. The Chiefs, obviously, their offense, we know at this point they have to be dink and dunk.
Mm-hmm. Can't go deep anymore, it seems like.
Yeah, which is why I don't think it'll be a shootout. I think it's going to be long, like 8-minute possession games. Each team will only have like 5-6 possessions
It'll be like
total.
24, 13, 17, somewhere in there.
Yeah, exactly. Plus the under is 4-1 in the Chiefs' last 5 games.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're not scoring points. And this is with their like awful defense.
And it's a division game.
It is a division game. 100%. The Raiders are also only 2-4 against the spread in their last 6, which is just weird. The Chiefs are 2-8 in their last 10.
Oh,
Both these teams just do not do well, like Vegas wise.
Right. Stay away from them.
Yeah, pretty much. But that being said, I am going to take that under, and I feel really good about it.
It's just crazy, like from the beginning of the season to now, like how far down the Chiefs have gone.
Yeah. Like I think we still kind of think they'll make the playoffs, but like once they get in the playoffs, like they're not going to just flip a switch, are they?
Unless their defense come to life. I mean,
they played better. They played better against the Packers, but that was also Jordan Love.
And they only scored 13 points.
I think, yeah, it was 13-7 was the final score.
So they should have shit stomped them more.
You would think like the Chiefs last year would have, but I think they just have to stay patient. They have to just do this dink and dunk. And it's interesting because when you watch Mahomes on the sideline, he looks visibly frustrated that he can't like go deep anymore. Like he's like the Madden player who would always just get away with like, he'd play like rookie mode arcade or something, just do 4 verticals. And now he's in simulation, all Madden, and has to just do outs and like check downs. And he's like visibly frustrated. And there's like times where they'll like get like past the 40 and he'll take like a deep shot. And that's like where they get screwed like with a pick or like a fumble or something like that.
Yeah. And he's also trying to do too much Mahomes.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting these dumb turnovers.
Yeah. I think he's like the bad side of Brett Favre. He was like Brett Favre with all the upside and none of the downside. Now like the downside is caught up to him. Basically.
Bad Brett Favre.
Yeah. Now he's bad Brett Favre. He's like Jets Brett Favre right now.
Gunslinger big time.
Exactly. So yeah, the actual spread of the game, I'm not going to touch just because I don't trust the Chiefs nor the Raiders, but I love the under. I think that's my freest cheese of the week.
I like that a lot, actually. I'm going to write that down.
There you go. Appreciate it. And then I just got one more Fuck We Ball pick before we have a special guest. We got Ryan, the t-shirt guy, coming on. Really excited about that. He's been clamoring to get on the podcast for a long time.
Won't
so
shut up about
I really hope he comes in with something good.
Yeah.
But Fuck It We Ball. This is based, I don't know anything about the X's and O's of this game, but I just love what this one team has done this season. I'm taking Purdue plus 20.5 against Ohio State.
Okay, spoiler makers.
That's the only reason why is Purdue is just so much this year. They've just spoiled everyone's seasons for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and the spread for that Penn State Ohio State game was like 18.
It was 19.5.
19. It was way too much. So
yeah.
I like that.
It's in Ohio State. It's a 2:30 game, which kind of spells trouble for Purdue. That's usually when.
But Ohio State must realize that.
I think at this point you can't sleep on Purdue.
No.
This is why it's a Fuck It We Ball pick, is because I'm literally just betting on what Purdue has done this year and just hoping that they will recreate it with a better team. 20.5 points also is a good amount. It's a Big Ten rivalry.
Oh yeah.
Thing.
Is it Ohio State?
It is in Ohio State. Yep.
Okay. That's a problem.
It's in the shoe.
That's a problem.
It is, but like I said, I'm quite literally just going. I'm not going to bet a ton on this. I'm literally just going.
Purdue did upset Ohio State like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, they have experience doing something like this.
So, and they beat them by like 3 touchdowns. So,
and plus, it's just been such a weird college football season too.
Yeah, nobody's like a big
safe.
top dog.
No one is safe. Georgia is the only team that has like seemed anything secure.
Right. And then Cincinnati is like, they're in the top 4, but they're not in the top 4.
Yeah.
And it's just,
It's weird.
chaos.
Yeah. So it's the only college game I'm betting. I'm literally going to a college game. I probably won't even bet on it, but the Purdue versus Ohio State, just because I also love the name Spoiler Makers that you introduced to me this week.
I did not make that up.
Okay, I'm sure you didn't, but you introduced it to me, so you might as well have made it up in my book. But I was a big fan of it. So yep, I'm taking Purdue plus 20.5. Fuck it, we ball. Do you have any sort of fuck it, we ball pick?
No, none this week. I'm
playing it safe.
I'm using my head this week.
Good for you.
Yeah.
This is how hot streaks die on my end, at least.
I mean, Vikings are plus 2.5.
I think 2.5. I think it's 3 now when I checked right before we did this against the Chargers because of the Dalvin Cook news.
Fuck it, we ball. Maybe Chargers plus or minus 2.5 or 3. Because a lot of Vikings are in COVID protocol right now.
Oh, really?
Harrison Smith could be out again.
Oh, Jesus.
Herbert might be eaten.
Yeah, maybe.
So I don't know.
Just hedging your emotions at this point.
I'm completely numb.
There you go.
After that, the Vikings got that kick return for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Against the Ravens. My dad said, well, I wonder how they're going to lose this game.
He was right.
And they had a 10-point lead there.
Mm-hmm.
So
that was so funny. I checked the score during the second quarter and it was like the Vikings were up like 17-0 or something like that.
17-3, I believe.
Yeah.
They had 2 touchdown lead 2 separate times in that game.
And yeah, I saw that score. I was at Costco and not for a single second did I think the Ravens would lose that game.
Right. I should have money. Oh, I should have live betted that.
I might start. That might be my new strategy. Just wait till the Vikings build their lead, then live betting money line the other team.
Okay, so the Vikings. All right, here's a good tip. So the Vikings always start hot right away on offense.
The first drive is always money.
So yeah, after the first quarter, or like between the first and second quarter during that break, bet on the other team.
Yeah,
to win, no matter what.
I saw a meme. It was like Vikings on the first and last drive of the game, just like a king, and then they're just derpy at the rest of the game, basically. That's
exactly what it is. They got to fire Kubiak. He's so bad.
In Zimmer.
Let Zimmer ride out.
Well, yeah, for the season, but after the season,
Kubiak should have been fired 3 weeks ago.
Can't keep blaming the OC.
The defense is playing all right. I mean, they're not playing great, but they're playing all right. They just got bad injuries and they got gas last week because of the offense.
Just bad luck all around.
But their special teams played fantastic last week, so that's a positive.
There's always silver lining. That's a problem with the Vikings.
Right.
I'm going to go on an anti-Vikings rant, so we're going to stop myself right there. Stay tuned, guys. We got a special guest coming on in just a second. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited about this. This is the most anticipated guest in Goose Egg history.
Definitely.
Wow. It's someone who's been clamoring to get on the podcast since the conception of the podcast.
Yes, correct.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan the T-shirt guy is here.
In the flesh.
Finally. Live in studio.
How many episodes have you done?
This is episode 10.
Wow. So there's been 10 weeks that I have just not gotten the invite.
Yeah.
Just keeps getting lost in the mail.
Yeah.
Slip between the seats.
So what do you guys do on this podcast?
We win a lot of money.
Just a couple guys. Just a couple guys drinking beer, talking sports.
Nice.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's probably like one of the only podcasts out there that I know that does that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
very casual.
So you just go through your bets for the week and
we usually pick like 3-4 games we like. Do a little slight recap last week. We did today because we're both red hot right now.
Who do you got this week?
This week we took.
So you're on a heater.
I'm on a huge heater.
You guys
so is Jared.
You got a guy?
What do you mean?
Like, do you have a guy who you follow? Who
you're looking at him?
Yeah, right here. With
so you're your own guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do some research beforehand. I'll like read the reports.
So I don't really like to give people betting advice. I don't really like to give people bets that I even think may be for sure's, because in the event that it goes wrong, that you feel like such a total idiot.
A dweeb.
Yeah. So for instance, big UFC guy. That's really the only thing I bet. I'll maybe put 1 or 2 NFL bets in throughout the week.
Yeah.
But this was like 2-3 weeks ago. UFC 7 fight parlay, and then probably like 4 or 5 other bets mixed in. And I'm like 4-0. Okay. First 4 fights of the night on an absolute heater. And then I text my neighbor who
get in on this,
who is like looking to throw some bets and whatever. I'm like, hey, this has got to be a for sure. So I'd hit this right now. Obviously it doesn't hit. 4-1. And then 7 fight parlay. I go 5-0 up to the co-main event. The co-main event is the fight I'm thinking like, oh God, this could go either way. So I'm going to hedge the co-main, and then the main event has to hit, right? Mm-hmm. So I hedge the co-main, And the guy who I had picked winning won anyway. So I lose a little bit of money out of the parlay. And then we get to the main event. Guy fucking loses.
Oh.
I hedged the wrong fight.
So now you got to move.
And I didn't want to hedge twice.
Right.
I didn't want to hedge twice, so that would have been dumb.
It's embarrassing.
So yeah, I was really disappointed. I'm like, I got this. I always look at my account like, all right, well, my account's here. Well, if I win this, here's where it's going to go.
What it could be.
Yeah. That's how I look at it, and yeah, it screwed me over hard.
Same. Yeah, same thing always happens to me. I'm always glass. I'm too much of an optimist, I like to think.
Yeah.
Or I'm always thinking what could happen, what my account could look like afterwards.
Yep.
Not what it could look like if I lose.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
So UFC, you're a big UFC guy. That's actually what I wanted to ask you about, because I don't know too much about it. I've just kind of started getting into it this year just because it's like exploding in popularity.
Yep.
Dana White, Joe Rogan, they're just taking the sport to a whole new level.
Yeah.
When you're looking at a UFC line, because you've given me a few bets and they've actually all hit, I think, the ones you've given me.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the guy.
So
Yep.
what is, like in football or like other sports, you look at things like pass rush or like just different aspects of the game like that.
Yeah.
What do you look at in UFC in terms of like when you're trying to find an edge or like beat the numbers?
Yeah, that one's easy. You just look at fighting style. Like you guys are labeled, and even when you play like the UFC video game, you have to pick a fighting style that your guy's going to be, whether he's going to be a brawler, a grappler, a Muay Thai kickboxer, whatever. So typically the way that Dana White and Sean Shelby, who's the matchmaker in the UFC, typically the way that they put fights together is based off of stylistic matchups. Sometimes like Khabib, for instance, you'll get a guy like Khabib who you just got to give him the next best guy, whether the stylistic matchup is there or not. You have to give him the next best guy because he's at the top.
Yeah.
So you look at style wise, like, is this guy going to bring the fight to the ground, and does he have really good submission or ground and pound specialties? If that's the case, and he's maybe a slight underdog, I would take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And then also you have to look at, if both guys are, boxers or kickboxers, who's known for heavy knockouts, who's known for emptying the gas tank within the first round. So if it gets past the first round, you're probably going to want to hit the other guy. So there's a bunch of different variables. And then the more you watch it, the more you just learn about fighters and like just the type of people they are and kind of like where they're at in their career. You could have, it's weird in the UFC because when Bruce Buffer introduces people, if he's introducing a guy who is the light heavyweight champion 10 years ago, he will still introduce them as the former light heavyweight champion, which to me is like, well, that's 10 years ago. That doesn't apply to today. Like this guy's probably going to get his ass whooped.
So like once you win one, you're a champion for life?
Correct.
According to him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, let's say John Jones lost his belt today. And then 10 years from now, Bruce Buffer introduces him before the fight as the former light heavyweight champion. Well, that was 10 years ago, Bruce. Like
update the resume.
Yeah. That and like quit pumping my brain full of like, oh fuck, former light heavyweight champion. Oh God, like this guy must be pretty good,
Yeah.
But it's 10 years ago.
He's fighting someone 10 years as junior.
Yes.
He's not a champion.
Exactly. So you have to also look at where they're at in their career. Like Connor, for instance, for sure bet 5 years ago. But now I don't think I'd ever throw $1 on him.
No.
He's trying to fight again, right?
He says April, May comeback, which I don't know if that'll be the case. I think he'll fight Michael Chandler next.
Okay.
So yeah, last weekend of UFC, the UFC card was fireworks.
The Madison Square Garden one, right? Yeah, I heard.
Yes.
I heard it was absolutely insane.
And I was in Las Vegas hoping that card would have been in Vegas at the time. If it was, I would have skipped the Rolling Stones and I would have went to this fight card 100%.
Yeah, I heard nothing but great things about it.
Yeah.
It just looked like a great time. So, like, does Vegas not pick up on these fighting styles or whatever, like the numbers, or do they kind of just go more off like accolades?
They do. It's so hard. Betting MMA is really hard because one punch can change the trajectory of a fight. Like one guy could get lucky.
Yeah.
So you never know. Like, for instance, the bet I'm going to give you today, we're going to bet rounds. We're not going to bet money line because the money line is just way
like one punch
minus 712 one way and plus 492 the other way. But I think it'll still be a very close fight, to be honest.
Okay.
I mean, it's a main event fight. They're not going to put some Joe Schmo in there.
No.
And just hope that it's a good main event. It's going to be good regardless. So we're gonna bet rounds.
What do you got for me?
Well, this weekend UFC, it's not a crazy card. It's a fight night. So if you have ESPN Plus, free fights. Max Holloway and Yair Rodriguez.
Okay.
Big time kickboxer. Max Holloway is a big time. He's arguably the best boxer in the UFC. The fight could potentially go to the ground, but I think the egos are big enough to where they're just going to see who can win it on the feet. So the over-under is 3.5 rounds. So if you're not familiar with UFC, they fight a full 3 rounds, and it's 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the 4th round that we need to clear in order to win this bet. So I'm going over 3.5 rounds, Max Holloway, Yair Rodriguez, minus 168. So it was minus 160 like an hour ago.
And that would have been better for me to get it there, but
yeah,
that's okay. Yeah, all right, I like it. What is the reasoning behind this? Do you think it's just the egos? They're gonna like keep their distance?
Tough chins.
Tough chins.
Yeah, Max Holloway is a volume guy, so he's gonna pick you apart in the first 2 to 3 rounds, and then possibly go for the knockout. But he's not a power puncher. He's just a volume guy, so he's just gonna pick and pick and pick and get a knockout eventually because it's just gonna wear you down. He also has great defense. Yair Rodriguez is gonna throw some nasty ass kicks. Mm-hmm. So if Max Holloway gets his leg taken out, his lead leg taken out in the first couple rounds, we could be fucked.
Okay.
But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think the case is it's going to go over 3.5 rounds. It's a 5-round fight. Mm-hmm. At minus 168. That's the only fight on this card that I'm going to bet on.
And it's the main event one.
Correct.
All right. Jared, what do you think?
I think it's great.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I want to get into it more.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's one of the most electric sports on planet Earth.
Well, I mean, it's the most like primal, like basic sport ever. It's just like literally just guy and guy get in there and fight each other. I think that's really, really cool. What do you think is the reason it's become so popular lately?
Well, I think the pandemic did a lot of good for them.
Yeah, that Fight Island thing I think was really cool.
So Dana White obviously went over to Abu Dhabi, secured an island. They did fights over there. The COVID protocol that they went through was insane, just to make sure that guys and girls were not getting the virus.
Yeah,
some of them still did. Couple people had to step in, which made for even better fights. The pandemic did a lot because you can still have 2 guys fight in a ring with no fans in the seats, just like you can have 2 football teams play against each other, but. It was cool because they were the first sport back.
Oh yeah.
After everything had shut down. And I think they maybe took a 30-day hiatus and that was it.
Yeah, it was really brief.
They were back. So hey, I'm dying to watch sports. I'm going to have to watch the UFC because that's the only thing or fucking Russian ping pong or something.
Yeah, that March, April, May stretch was brutal. It was like
nothing.
The Last Dance documentary and that was it.
Korean baseball.
Korean baseball, yeah. And then you got one of the greatest sports on planet Earth. You have the UFC.
Right. Yeah, pick your poison.
Yeah. So not only am I betting on UFC weekend by weekend, but also E-Trade invested.
Okay.
EDR is a ticker if you're looking for it.
Oh man.
So now I got money into the UFC. So I am technically, as Packer fans would say, part owner.
All right. Well,
I got ownership.
I'll watch it this weekend. I'll get that ESPN Plus membership just so you can get some money.
Was like $5?
I think it's pretty reasonable.
Okay.
And with the amount of ESPN, I actually think my parents have an account, so I might be able to just hop on theirs.
Why not?
So that'll be great. I'll
just go on rides.
Yeah,
you can go on mine too.
Yeah, what's your password? Just for everyone, everyone to hear.
There are too many devices logged into your account. You are no longer allowed.
Absolutely.
Also, what's crazy about the UFC is so you have to pay $5 or $6 a month for ESPN Plus, but then they make you buy the pay-per-view on top of it for $70.
It's bullshit.
But hey, I would rather pay, and I buy every pay-per-view.
I disagree, Jared. I like the business model of it.
Do you?
I do, because I was at a bachelor party during the Conor fight, and I remember that was before this last week, and that was the biggest UFC event in a long time. Yep. And we were just all drunk, stumbling, trying to figure out how to order this fight.
Yeah.
And we were able to do it. We actually had a good time despite the fact that the fight was over in 10 seconds.
Sure.
We had a great time just watching the undercards and stuff like that. It's just a great event. It's a great spectacle sport.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just a good time.
Well, I'm just saying it's too expensive. They should just do it a $20 flat fee a month. Then not
$70. Yeah. So $75 you're paying per month for UFC, because $5 ESPN Plus, and then the $70 pay-per-view, which there's one a month.
Oof,
you also know what's crazy is I will never illegally stream an MMA event.
I think I agree with it. Agree with that.
But I will
philosophy at least.
Yeah, I'll illegally stream box like the TikTok YouTuber boxing, the Jake Paul fights. not necessarily illegally stream them. I'll just find like a TikTok live.
There's like,
That
there's ones where like people like
Point
reflect it
on the
off their
screen.
glasses or like off the window, stuff like that. Yeah, same. I agree completely.
I don't know. There can't be a leg. I can't have any leg, so I have to buy it.
And you just want it in high definition. If you're gonna like make your whole evening watch, I'm not gonna like make my whole evening watching the Jake Paul fight, but like a UFC event, I would like make my whole evening watching that. So I'd pay just for the extra.
Yeah.
And when you justify it based off of like, oh, it's like $70 at the bar versus like $70 here.
I'll literally sit on my couch for 5 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's like pure entertainment for me.
Yeah, it gives you your whole thing.
Yeah.
So before you leave, there's one more thing I got to talk to you about. It's this golf trip we got coming up.
Oh yeah, Arizona.
I have not ever played you for money, but I think I have a feeling in Arizona we might swap some cash about a bit.
Well, you might give me some cash.
Well, it depends on the advantage I get.
True. If we go by handicap, yes, then like for instance, I'll have to give you 2 strokes on this hole or 3 strokes on this one, or this one's playing even, whatever the handicap is.
Yeah, so basically I was just wondering, is there any like way we can compete to make it like fair? Because obviously on any course you'd probably wipe the floor with me. But.
Well, I don't know. These days it's been tough.
Yeah.
But I'll grind my way through it if I have to.
For those who don't know, Ryan is currently battling some golf demons.
Yeah. And I went to the simulator today. We filmed a video at the simulator. Things actually went well.
Nice.
Just not getting distance on the clubs. All that shit doesn't matter. So we'll have to go by handicap. I'm not actually sure how that works, but we'll
Google it.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. It'll be a good time. But yeah, I think that's it. Jared, you got anything else to add?
What do you guys got picked for NFL this week? Just give me a quick recap.
That's right. So
Packers minus 3.5
against who?
Seattle.
See, I have Seahawks plus 3.5. It's the one game we disagree on.
Yeah.
This weekend.
Kind of like a pride game for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to show up, but he also has not been at the facility for 10 days, assuming he is able to play. He has to test negative twice.
Okay.
Plus Russell Wilson's coming back.
Ooh.
That one's a lot more of a sure thing than Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Plus the Seahawks are just a more desperate team.
Jordan Love versus Geno Smith.
Oh.
I'm going to this game, so it's either going to be Geno versus Jordan Love or Aaron Rodgers versus Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
And I just have the worst luck of going to live games because like I paid really good tickets to see when LeBron came to Minneapolis and he was hurt for that.
Yep.
I paid really good money to see Mahomes against the Vikings last year and he was hurt for that, or 2 years ago. So I just have really bad luck with seeing like going to live games. So I'm going to be really bummed if they're both out for this one, but I'm pretty confident they'll be back in.
My first game at US Bank Stadium was Vikings Bears week 17 after the playoff spot was clinched by the Vikings.
So it's like a preseason game.
So it was fucking Todd Mannion or whatever his name is, Sean Mannion, and every other backup you can about imagine.
Dog shit game.
Yeah, it's unreal.
I think they lost.
19-16 or something. I don't know.
All touchdowns were scored within 5 yards.
Yeah.
It's just like goal line.
Exactly.
Touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's rough. The game
Packers minus 3.5.
If you're siding with Jared, I said Seahawks.
Okay, no, I'm not siding with anybody.
Okay. The most interesting game I think is Browns Patriots 1.5. We're both taking Patriots minus 1.5. We think the Browns game last week was a bit of a fluke.
Okay.
And Belichick used to coach for the Browns, so he's gonna have that revenge factor.
Okay.
Thursday night game is Ravens Dolphins. I don't even think I'll watch.
No,
it's gonna
absolutely
be a rough
not.
one. I found a really cool on DraftKings. I found a really cool player parlay of Lamar Jackson, 325 pass yards and 50 rushing yards for plus 1,300. So I'm taking that.
Wow, 325 in the air.
Yeah, and then 50 on the ground.
50 on the ground. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
But 325h in the air is a lot.
I'd say a lot.
It is, but I'm.
It is.
It is.
Yes, it is.
All right, I'm deleting that real quick. And then
can you go under 325 and 50 rush yards?
No, it's just a parlay. It's like it's like one of their weekly specials.
Sure.
Yeah, and then the Sunday night game is Chiefs Raiders. This is the bet I feel the best about. The over under is 51.5. I'm taking the under. Jared agrees with that one too.
Mm-hmm.
Both offenses are not good anymore.
But the Chiefs are gonna blow up one of these games.
You think?
Travis Kelce, I traded for him in fantasy a few weeks back. Fucking 12 points here, 14 points here. Number 1 tight end in the league. Like, come on, throw me a fucking bone.
I do admire the amount of moves you made as a GM in fantasy. Like when you look at our thing, you've made like the most moves like by double of what anyone else. Yeah, you can look at how many moves people have made.
That's the way you win, though.
Yeah,
that's how you win. You win in free agency.
Yeah, you like making deals though.
I've only made one trade this year.
Yeah, you like talking about trades. I don't think.
Yeah, I like talking about trades. I also almost got rid of Calvin Ridley, which fuck, I should have.
Yeah.
Out.
You didn't know he had personal issues.
No, I didn't. No, I don't think anyone did.
Though. But yeah, that is true. Like in fantasy, like whoever stays like the most attentive throughout the long season.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
usually wins. Which might be why you're 1-8, Jared.
Yeah, no,
attention.
Here's the question.
Trying to make moves.
Leonard Fournette, bye last week, one of my RB2. Najee Harris, Leonard Fournette, top 2 running backs on my team. Started James Conner last week. Had to. No other choice. 40 points.
Pops off.
Do I start him again? Over Leonard Fournette.
Who are they playing?
The
Panthers.
Bucks have
Cardinals play the Panthers.
Cardinals got the Panthers, and the
Panthers are number 4 defense in the league, I believe.
And the Bucks we said had Washington. I would take Leonard Fournette.
God, and James Conner's gonna pop. James Conner's gonna pop off.
Well, do you have a flex spot available? Who's your current flex?
My current flex is going to be Hunter Renfrow, maybe.
Oh, then yeah, throw him in the flex.
Uh,
Renfro's not terrible though.
No, okay, so I'd have James Conner in the lineup, and then I have Leonard Fournette as my flex.
Yeah, I think you're good with that.
So
Yeah, just roll with it.
Cole Beasley is on the bench. Chris Godwin is also questionable, so he's on my bench currently. If I need to make a move, Chris Godwin will go up to flex, and then I'll have to drop a running back.
The Bucks receivers are also hit and miss just because there's so many of them.
I know.
You're in the playoff hunt, right?
No, 5-4.
Oh, so,
I mean, my division is
we're
stacked compared to
we're
the
in
other
stacked
division.
Where
Yeah.
I'm 4-5 and I'm dead last in the division.
Yeah.
And they have like Jared.
Jared's in, like-
I hate to keep throwing you under the bus.
Jared's
but-
like tied for second at 1-8.
yeah, for real.
Yeah, it's bad.
The West is
I'm
just
kicked
so
out of
much
the playoffs
stronger.
already.
Are
you
you officially eliminated?
0% chance going to the playoffs. So
You
that's
should
not good.
consider trading some of your good players.
I'm
to
not doing
your
that.
podcast
Yeah,
co-host.
Jared.
Not a wholesale. I don't like doing
Really?
that.
It is shitty. I've had to be the commissioner and like deal with that, and people get pissed.
I believe
People
it.
get pissed when that happens.
It's bad etiquette.
The loser of the
is.
league too has to stay a weekend at the bunker.
Right. Which would be all right, but
You got to make
I
sure
don't wanna
that
do
you got to make sure that snack cupboard is full before people leave on
a lot
Friday.
of jerky sticks.
Yes,
in there.
lot of bulk beef jerky.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, fuck. We have 18 TVs in here, so get a game on each one.
yeah.
Get some DoorDash going.
Yeah, it'll be a good
bad.
time. We'll come visit you.
Get shit faced early, maybe just pass out.
I'll just sleep.
Yeah, sleep through it.
I'll just sleep in the producer room here. It'll be
Yeah.
perfect.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice
You're already
and cozy.
home.
Soundproof walls. Nobody will bother me.
Don't hear you scream.
Yeah.
All right, well, Ryan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome,
Ryan.
Max Holloway, Yair Rodriguez, over 3.5 rounds. It's minus
I'll be glued
168.
to the TV in Wisconsin somewhere.
Good.
It'll be a good time.
Good. I hope it hits.
Yeah, where can the people find you?
At Ryan the T-shirt guy, at breakfast.balls on Instagram, Breakfast Ball, Double Bogey Show podcast, YBR.
IBR.
I'm pretty much, I find
You're everywhere.
I work myself into just about every page on here in some way.
Oh yeah. You're
you
Renaissance
always
man.
sneak in.
Which is kind of cool though. Kind of cool. I just get to see what everyone else is doing. So
Yeah.
I'm
We'll
out.
get you on the hot dish eventually.
I've already been twice.
you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I am
Perfect.
what the kids these days would say is I am out here.
I am in fact out here.
You are a Renaissance man.
Correct.
100%.
Yep.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for listening. Good luck this weekend. As always, do not think of it as a loss. Think of it as a down payment on your future success. See ya.
Bye.